Welcome, my dear friend, to this quiet sanctuary of time. It is a pleasure to have you here with me tonight. Before we begin our journey, I wonder where you are right now, and what time does the clock show in your part of the world? If you would like to share your city and the hour in the comments, it would bring me great joy to know where our voices are meeting. But now, it is time to let go of the day you have left behind. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Release the tension in your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and let your hands rest gently. Forget the noise of the modern world and let the silence of the past wrap around you like a warm, heavy blanket. Imagine that we are drifting away from the present moment. We are floating backwards through the mists of centuries to a time of golden light and long shadows. Can you feel the air changing around you? It is becoming still, heavy, with the scent of dried lavender and cooling stone. We are arriving at the end of an era, not with a bang, but with a gentle sigh. Have you ever wondered what it felt like to watch a great empire slowly fade away from the comfort of a garden terrace? To see the lights of civilization dim one by one, while the stars above remained exactly the same. Tonight, we will walk through the halls of a late Roman villa. We will witness the quiet transformation of a world that thought it would last forever. The marble is still cool under our feet, but the moss is beginning to creep into the cracks. The sun is setting on the western horizon, painting the sky in deep purples and bruised oranges. We are in Gaul, perhaps, or maybe the rolling hills of Britannia, in the late 5th century. The legions have gone, the roads are quiet, but the beauty remains lingering like a ghost. Let us step onto the mosaic floor and listen to the whispers of history. Are you ready to walk with me into the twilight? Let us begin. The evening air is cooling, settling over the stone balustrades like a soft, invisible veil. We move slowly from the terrace into the peristyle garden, the heart of this fading sanctuary. Once, this place was manicured to perfection, a geometric triumph of Roman order over nature. Now, the box hedges have grown wild, reaching out with leafy fingers to brush against the fluted columns. Can you hear the sound of water gently trickling nearby? In the center of the garden lies a rectangular pool, its surface dark and reflective like obsidian. A small fountain still sings its quiet song, though the water pressure is not what it used to be. The aqueducts far away are crumbling, but here, a thin stream still flows, stubborn and serene. Watch how the moonlight begins to filter through the leaves of the ancient pear tree. It casts dappled shadows on the mosaic path, creating patterns that dance with the breeze. There is a statue of Diana standing in the corner, half hidden by climbing ivy. Her marble bow is broken, lost to time, but her gaze remains fixed on the distant woods. The stone feels rough and cool under your fingertips as you brush past the peeling stucco of the walls. The vibrant reds and ochres of the frescoes have faded into soft, pastel washes of memory. Smell the scent of damp earth and wild thyme rising from the overgrown flower beds. It is a heavy, grounding aroma, the smell of nature, slowly reclaiming its own. In this late hour, the household is quiet, perhaps gathered in the winter dining room. The grand banquets of the past, with their noise and excess, are now just echoes in these empty corridors. Life here has become smaller, more intimate, turning inwards as the world outside expands into uncertainty. Yet, there is no fear here, only a profound sense of resignation and peace. Imagine sitting on a stone bench, the cold seeping through your clothes, grounding you to this moment. You watch a single dry leaf detach itself from a branch and drift slowly down to the water. It lands with barely a ripple disturbing the reflection of the first emerging stars. The tiles beneath the water are covered in a fine layer of silt, undisturbed for years. Goldfish used to swim here, flashing like coins in the sun, but now the water is empty and still. The silence is not empty. It is full of the weight of centuries. We are witnessing the slow, beautiful entropy of a civilization resting after a long day. There is no urgency to fix the cracks, no legions coming to repair the roof tiles. Just the gentle, persistent work of roots and rain, undoing what human hands once built. Look up at the covered walkway that surrounds us, supported by columns of local limestone. The paint on the capitals is flaking, revealing the raw, honest stone beneath the artifice. A bat flickers silently across the open square of sky above us, hunting in the twilight. It is a reminder that while empires fall, the rhythms of the natural world continue unbroken. The villa feels like an island, a stone ship floating on a sea of darkening green. You can feel the safety of these walls, thick and reassuring, holding back the night. The owners of this place know that the golden age has passed. Yet they light their oil lamps every evening. They preserve the rituals of the bath and the dinner table, acts of defiance against the encroaching dark. Let us walk further along the colonnade, our footsteps echoing softly on the uneven flagstones. To our left, a doorway stands open, revealing the deep shadows of the interior rooms. The darkness inside is warm and inviting, smelling of beeswax polish and old timber. We are moving deeper into the private life of the house, away from the display of the public areas. Here, the history is personal, written in the wear of the threshold stone. Imagine the generations of sandals that have crossed this exact spot, wearing the stone down to a smooth curve. The air here is stiller, protected from the wind, holding the warmth of the day within the masonry. You pause to run your hand over a fresco of a bird, its blue feathers still surprisingly bright. It is a small detail, easily overlooked, but tonight it feels like a secret shared just with you. The world is slowing down, breathing out the stress of survival. Everything is pausing, waiting, suspended in this amber light of dusk. Let us linger here for a moment longer before we enter the deeper shadows. Feel the tranquility of a place that has accepted its fate with grace and dignity. We cross the threshold, leaving the cool garden air behind us. The heavy wooden door closes with a solid, reassuring thud. Instantly, the world becomes quieter, wrapped in the thick silence of stone walls. We find ourselves in a smaller room, the triclinium, or winter dining room. It is designed to hold the heat, a cozy refuge against the encroaching chill. Can you feel the subtle warmth rising from the floor beneath your feet? The hypocaust system is still working, circulating hot air through channels deep underground. It is a marvel of engineering, a beating heart of fire, hidden beneath the earth. The warmth travels up through your soles, relaxing the muscles in your legs. The room is lit by a cluster of oil lamps hanging from a bronze stand. Their small flames flicker gently, casting dancing shadows that stretch up the painted walls. The smell of burning olive oil mixes with the scent of dried herbs hanging from the rafters. It is a comforting, domestic smell, the scent of home and safety. Look at the mosaic floor here, illuminated by the soft, golden light. It depicts the 4 seasons, a cycle that continues regardless of emperors or armies. Winter is shown as a hooded figure, wrapped in a heavy cloak, much like us tonight. The tesserae are small and perfectly fitted, though a few are missing here and there. In the center of the room stands a round table made of polished walnut wood. It gleams in the lamplight, showing the marks of countless meals and conversations. There are 3 couches arranged around it, piled high with wool cushions. The fabric is dyed in deep reds and greens, faded now but still soft to the touch. Imagine sinking into these cushions, letting your body become heavy and supported. On the table, a glass goblet sits half empty, catching the light like a jewel. Next to it, a silver spoon rests on a ceramic plate, forgotten for the moment. These small objects tell us that life here is not just about survival, but about dignity. Even as the borders recede, the people here cling to the beauty of their daily rituals. On a side table, a scroll lies open, held down by a smooth river stone. Perhaps someone was reading poetry, seeking solace in the verses of Virgil or Horace. Blessed is he who has been able to win knowledge of the causes of things. The words float in the air, a testament to the enduring power of the human mind. Outside, the wind begins to pick up, whistling softly around the corners of the roof. But here, inside, the storm feels miles away, unable to touch us. The thick curtains, heavy with embroidery, are drawn tight against the window slits. They muffle the sounds of the night, creating a cocoon of absolute stillness. You can hear the settling of the house, the creak of timber as it cools. It is the breathing of the structure, alive and weary, just like its inhabitants. Shadows play in the corners of the room, hiding the peeling plaster and the cracks. In this light, the villa looks as magnificent as it did 100 years ago. We are suspended in a bubble of memory, protected from the relentless march of time. Focus on the flame of the nearest lamp. Watch how it stands tall and steady. It burns its fuel slowly, just as this house consumes the last reserves of an era. There is no rush here, no need to be anywhere else but in this warm embrace. Your eyelids might feel heavy, mirrored by the drowsy atmosphere of the room. The silence here is not empty. It is a companion, sitting beside us on the couch. It invites you to rest, to put down the burdens you have carried all day. The history of this place is not one of battles, but of quiet endurance. It is the history of keeping the light burning while the world darkens outside. Feel the gratitude for this shelter, this small pocket of civilization. We are safe here, hidden away in the folds of history. Let the warmth of the floor seep into your bones, deep and restorative. Rest here for a moment, in the gentle glow of the lamp, leaving the warmth of the dining room. We carry a small oil lamp with us into the corridor. The flame flickers against the draught, guiding our way through the shadows. We approach a heavy oak door, carved with intricate patterns of vines and laurels. This is the entrance to the library, the bibliotheca, the memory of the house. As we push the door open, a unique scent greets us: old parchment, cedar wood, and dust. It is the smell of knowledge waiting patiently to be rediscovered. The room is small and intimate, lined from floor to ceiling with wooden shelves. In the center, a solitary desk sits near a narrow window, currently shuttered against the night. Imagine running your fingers along the spines of the scrolls, nestled in their cubbyholes. Some are made of papyrus from Egypt, dry and brittle to the touch. Others are vellum, smooth and pale, written on the skin of calves. Here lies the history of Rome, its laws, its poetry, its philosophy. But tonight, the scrolls are sleeping, their stories rolled up tightly in the dark. There is a bronze bust of a philosopher on a pedestal, perhaps Seneca or Marcus Aurelius. His stoic expression seems to offer silent comfort in these uncertain times. All that is human is short, lived and perishable. He seems to whisper. You sit at the desk, the wood polished smooth, by the elbows of generations of scholars. An inkwell made of dark glass sits empty, a dried quill resting beside it. Think of the letters that were written here, messages sent to distant provinces, news of a birth, a harvest, or a plea for legions that never came. The silence in this room is different from the garden. It is a thoughtful, heavy silence. It is the quiet of a mind at rest, contemplating the vastness of time. You can hear the faint scratching of a mouse behind the wainscoting. It is a small, living sound that emphasizes the stillness of everything else. The lamp casts a circle of warm light on the desk, creating a private island of clarity. Outside this circle, the corners of the room dissolve into soft, velvety blackness. You feel a sense of protection here, surrounded by the wisdom of the ancients. The chaos of the collapsing empire cannot breach these walls. Here, logic and order still reign supreme, preserved in ink and word. Pick up a small, unrolled fragment of parchment left on the table. The Latin script is elegant and flowing, though the ink has faded to a rusty brown. It speaks of the planting of vines, a reminder that life goes on, season after season. Even as cities fall, the grapes must be harvested, the wine must be made. This continuity is a balm to the soul, a promise that not everything ends. Lean back in the heavy wooden chair and close your eyes for a moment. Visualize the map of the world as the Romans knew it, stretching from the mists of Scotland to the sands of Syria. That world is shrinking now, but in this room it remains whole and perfect. The air is cool here, good for preserving the fragile texts. Pull your shawl or blanket tighter around your shoulders, enjoying the contrast. The chill brings a sharpness to your thoughts, a clarity that comes with the night. You are the guardian of this knowledge, for tonight the keeper of the flame. There is no need to read, no need to study, just being here is enough. Let the presence of the books soothe your mind, quieting your own anxious thoughts. They have survived for centuries. They tell you that you, too, can endure. The shadows lengthen as the oil in our lamp burns lower. But there is no fear of the dark, only a gentle acceptance of the coming sleep. The library is a bridge between the past and the future, and we are standing in the middle. Feel the weight of history supporting you, solid and unshakable beneath your feet. We step out of the library, leaving the heavy scent of parchment behind. The corridor stretches before us, a tunnel of shadows and stone. Our footsteps are silent now, muffled by the woven mats on the floor. It is time to move towards the most private part of the villa. The cubiculum, the sleeping chamber, awaits us at the end of the hall. This is where the day truly ends, where the masks of the world are taken off. The door is small and plain, humble compared to the grand entrance. We push it open gently, careful not to disturb the stillness. Inside, the room is compact, designed for rest and warmth. There is no excess here, only what is needed for peace. A small oil lamp burns in a niche on the wall, casting a low, amber glow. It illuminates the frescoes of sleeping birds and quiet gardens. The bed, or lectus, stands against the far wall. It is raised on carved wooden legs, simple yet elegant. A thick mattress filled with wool promises deep comfort. Layers of linen and heavy blankets are piled high, inviting you to sink in. You can almost feel the texture of the fabric cool and crisp against the skin. A small window is set high in the wall, framing a square of the night sky. Through it, you can see a single bright star pulsing in the darkness. It is Sirius, the dog star, watching over the sleeping world. The air in here is still and sweet, smelling of lavender sachets, tucked into the bedding. Place your lamp on the small side table, beside the bed. Watch how the shadows settle into the corners, softening the edges of the room. You are enclosed in a box of stone, safe from the winds outside. The troubles of the empire, the fading glory, do not matter here. Here, there is only the rhythm of your own breathing. Listen, can you hear the silence ringing in your ears? It is a rare gift, this absolute absence of noise. A ceramic jug of water sits on the table, its surface beaded with condensation. Take a sip. The water is cool, tasting of the earth from which it came. It cleanses your palate, washing away the dust of the day. Slowly, you begin to untie your sandals, setting them on the floor. Your feet touch the mosaic tiles, feeling the grounding chill of the stone. But the bed is warm, a nest prepared just for you. Imagine climbing into it, pulling the heavy wool blanket up to your chin. The weight of the cover is reassuring, like a gentle hug. Your head sinks into the pillow, finding the perfect hollow. The ceiling above is painted with stars, mirroring the sky outside. Even with your eyes open, you are looking into the heavens. The flame of the lamp flickers one last time, and then settles into a steady burn. It is the only light in a world of darkness. You watch the play of light on the ceiling beams. Your eyelids are growing heavier with every breath. The day is done, and nothing more is required of you. You have walked through history, and now it is time to rest. The villa stands guard around you, a silent sentinel. Its walls have held the sleep of thousands before you. You are part of that chain now, a guest in the house of time. Let your thoughts drift away, like smoke dissolving into the air. Sleep is coming, walking softly across the mosaic floor. As your body rests, let your spirit float lightly out of the room. We drift silently back into the hallway, moving like a shadow. The house is sleeping, but it is not empty of presence. We arrive at the atrium, the grand ceremonial heart of the villa. By day, This is a busy place of clients and business, but tonight it is a temple of silence and moonlight. Look up at the compluvium, the open square in the roof. The moonlight pours down in a solid, silver column. It illuminates the impluvium, the shallow pool waiting for rain below. The water is perfectly still, holding the reflection of the moon like a coin. There is a profound sense of balance here between earth and sky. In the corner, bathed in shadows, stands a small, house-shaped shrine. This is the lararium, the home of the household gods. Let us approach it with reverence and slow steps. The painted doors of the shrine are open, revealing the figures inside. Meet the lares, the dancing guardians of the family fields. They hold up their drinking horns, toasting to the health of the house. Beside them stand the penates, the protectors of the pantry and stores. They ensure that there is always bread and wine, that the family survives. There is a small offering dish here, containing a few grains of spelt and salt, a remnant of the morning's sacrifice, a simple act of gratitude. Smell the faint, lingering scent of frankincense and burnt rosemary. It hangs in the air, a bridge between the mortal and the divine. On the walls around the shrine, the wax masks of ancestors hang. The imagines, the faces of those who came before. They watch from the shadows with hollow, knowing eyes. But do not be afraid. They are the ultimate protectors. They have seen the rise of the empire, and they are seeing its twilight. Their expressions are calm, filled with the wisdom of the dead. They whisper that walls may crumble, but the lineage endures. The blood that flows in the veins of the sleepers is their legacy. Feel the strength of this invisible army surrounding you. You are never truly alone in a Roman house. The past is always present, standing guard in the corners. A draft blows through the atrium, making the flames of the lares dance. It is as if the spirits are breathing, alive in the stone. Touch the cold marble of the altar with your mind's hand. It is smooth, worn down by centuries of pious touches. This connection to the divine is what holds the chaos at bay. While the legions fail at the frontiers, these little gods remain faithful. They do not ask for conquest, only for remembrance and respect. The moonlight shifts, moving across the face of a bronze statuette. It is a snake, the Agathodamon, the good spirit of the place. It coils protectively around the base of the shrine, symbol of renewal, shedding its skin, just as the world is shedding its old form. The cycle continues, unbroken by the fall of kings. Here, in the quiet of the atrium, there is an eternal stability. Let this sense of timeless protection wash over you. Return slowly to the warmth of your bed, carrying this peace. The gods are watching, and the night is safe. Rest now, under the gaze of the ancestors. We leave the sacred silence of the atrium behind us. A different sound begins to reach our ears. faint and rhythmic. It is the sound of water dripping echoey and hollow. We are approaching the private baths, the therma of the villa. Push aside the heavy leather curtain that keeps the moisture in. The air here feels different on your skin. Thick, humid, and still. We enter the changing room first, the apoditerium. The stone benches line the walls, empty of the chatter of the day. Niches in the wall, once filled with oils and strigils, are now dark mouths. Imagine the ghosts of steam that used to fill this space. Now it is cooler, a transitional space between the world and the water. We move deeper into the frigidarium, the cold room. A circular pool dominates the center, its water black as ink in the dim light. The surface is glass, like undisturbed by any swimmer. Look at the floor, a mosaic of sea monsters and dolphins playing in the waves. Their colors are vibrant under the water, protected from the air. The room smells of minerals and wet stone, a scent as old as the earth. Your footsteps echo loudly here, bouncing off the vaulted ceiling. Click, clack, click, clack. It is the sound of solitude amplified by the architecture. There is a beauty in this emptiness, a purity that crowds would destroy. We pass through a narrow archway into the tepidarium, the warm room. Here, the floor is still pleasantly warm to the touch. The hypocaust fires below are dying down for the night, but the heat lingers. It radiates upwards, wrapping around your ankles like a soft cat. This is a place of waiting, of preparing the body and the mind. Sit for a moment on the marble bench and lean back against the wall. Feel the gentle heat seeping into your back, relaxing the muscles of your spine. The condensation on the walls glitters like diamond dust in the lamp light. A single drop of water falls from the ceiling into a puddle plip. Wait for the next one. Silence plip. This slow rhythm is the heartbeat of the building. It measures time not in hours, but in droplets. Finally, we peek into the caldarium, the hot room, now cooling into twilight. The large basin at the end is empty, dry bone white in the shadows. The furnace slave has gone to sleep, and the fire is just embers now. There is a sense of a party that has ended, guests who have departed. But the architecture remains noble and unyielding. The dome above has an oculus, a round eye open to the sky. A few dead leaves have drifted in, resting on the mosaic floor. Nature is slowly entering, invited by the quiet. The grand rituals of bathing, of cleansing, are paused, but the peace remains a damp, heavy, enveloping peace. Close your eyes and imagine the sound of steam hissing softly. Let the imaginary steam clear your mind, fogging over your worries. You are clean, you are warm, and you are alone in history. The water washes away the dust of the empire. We leave the baths now, feeling lighter and purified. The echo of the dripping water follows us, a lullaby of stone. From the echoing stone of the baths, we move towards a warmer scent. Drifting through the service corridors, the air changes once again. It becomes rich with the smell of wood smoke, roasted garlic, and baked dough. We have arrived at the Kalina, the kitchen, the stomach of the villa. The slaves have finished their work and retired to their quarters. The room is silent, save for the soft crackle of the main hearth. A large brick oven dominates the wall, still radiating a gentle, dry heat. It is like a sleeping giant, and breathing out warmth into the cool night. Touch the rough wooden surface of the central preparation table. It is worn smooth in the center, concave from years of kneading bread. A fine dusting of flour still coats the wood like a light snowfall. It captures the moonlight filtering through the high, barred window. Rows of dried herbs hang from the rafters above our heads. Bundles of thyme, sage, and oregano, casting long, spindly shadows. They sway slightly in the draft, releasing bursts of earthy perfume. This is the smell of the countryside, simple and enduring. On the shelves, the fine red pottery of the past has been replaced by sturdy local clay. The glazes are simpler, the shapes more practical, but they hold the stew just as well. A copper pot hangs from a hook, gleaming dully in the firelight. It has a dent in the side, a memory of a busy feast day long ago. In the corner, a stack of amphorae leans against the wall. Some hold olive oil from the groves outside, others hold local wine. The trade routes to the east are broken, the exotic spices are gone. But here, there is still abundance in simplicity. A small clay bowl has been left out on the table, covered with a cloth. Lift the corner gently. It is a rising dough, waiting for the morning. Yeast is working its silent magic in the dark, a promise of tomorrow's breakfast. Life continues here, driven by the basic need to eat and to share. A house cat, the guardian of the grain, sleeps curled up near the oven. Its rhythmic purring blends with the settling sounds of the house. It opens one green eye to look at you, then closes it again, unbothered. You are part of the household now, no threat to its peace. The fire in the hearth has burned down to glowing red embers. Watch them pulse, fading from bright orange to deep crimson. They look like a miniature city at sunset, slowly darkening. There is something hypnotic about staring into a dying fire. It draws the thoughts out of your head and burns them away. The warmth reaches your face, flushing your cheeks pleasantly. You feel a deep, primal sense of satisfaction. The harvest is in, the pantry is stocked, and the fire is lit. In a world falling apart, these simple things are the only truth. The darkness in the corners of the kitchen is not scary, it is restful. It hides the soot on the ceiling and the cracks in the floor. It wraps the room in a blanket of intimacy. Here, stripped of marble and gold, the villa feels most alive. It is a home first and foremost. Take one last deep breath of the savory, smoky air. It fills your lungs with a grounding heaviness. We leave the embers to their slow fade, moving back into the quiet hall. The taste of comfort lingers on your tongue, leaving the warmth of the kitchen. We find a heavy wooden door secured with iron bands. It opens with a low groan, revealing a staircase leading down into the earth. We descend slowly, the air growing cooler and damper with every step. We are entering the cella venaria, the wine cellar and storehouse of the estate. This is the vault of survival, where the summer's labor is kept safe from the winter. The light of our lamp struggles here, swallowed by the vast, cavernous space. Shadows stretch long and deep between the rows of massive terracotta jars. These are the dolia, huge spherical containers, buried halfway into the ground. They look like sleeping beasts, round and heavy with their precious cargo. Walk between them and listen. There is a faint, living sound here, too. It is the whisper of fermentation, the wine breathing inside the clay. The air is thick with the heady, sweet scent of crushed grapes and aging alcohol. It is a drowsy, intoxicating smell that makes your limbs feel heavy and relaxed. Here lies the vintage of the year, transforming slowly in the dark. There are no labels, no imports from Falernum or Greece anymore. Just the honest, dark wine of the local hills, strong and grounding. Further back, we see sacks of grain piled high against the stone walls. Spelt barley and wheat, the golden currency of life. Run your hand over the rough burlap of a sack. You can feel the kernels inside, hard and packed tight like little stones. These seeds hold the promise of bread for the coming year. There is a profound sense of security in this room, a feeling of being prepared. The legions may leave, the coins may become worthless, but the grain remains. The earth has been generous, and the harvest is safely gathered in. In the corner, shelves are lined with jars of preserved olives, honey, and salted meat. Each jar is sealed with wax, a time capsule of flavor waiting to be opened. You can see the faint glint of the wax seals in the flickering lamplight. Dust motes dance in the air, undisturbed for days, perhaps weeks. Time moves differently down here. It is measured in seasons, not hours. The stone floor is uneven, cold and damp beneath your sandals. It reminds you that we are deep within the foundation of the house. The villa rests on this abundance, anchored by the weight of its stores. A spider has spun a complex web between two amphorae. It glistens like silver thread, a masterpiece of patience and engineering. Leave it be, it is the guardian of this quiet corner. The silence here is dense, muffled by the earth surrounding us on all sides. It is a silence that wraps around you, insulating you from the world above. You feel a deep, primal satisfaction knowing that the larder is full. The fear of hunger, the anxiety of the future, dissolves in this room. There is enough, there is always enough. The darkness presses in gently, like velvet against your skin. It invites you to close your eyes and trust in the unseen. Imagine yourself as a seed, resting in the cool, dark soil, waiting, sleeping, gathering strength for a distant spring. There is no need to rush, no need to grow right now. Just the need to rest, protected by the thick stone walls. We turn back towards the stairs, moving slowly through the heavy air. The scent of the wine follows us, a lingering memory of the earth's blood. We ascend, leaving the sleeping harvest to its dreams. We emerge from the depths of the cellar, breathing in the fresh night air. It is crisp and clean, scrubbing the scent of wine from our senses. We walk slowly towards the back of the villa, where the hortus lies. This is the working garden, the orchard that feeds the household. Here, the trees stand in orderly rows, like a silent, peaceful legion. Apple, pear, and fig trees, their silhouettes, dark against the sky. They have lost most of their leaves, their bare branches reaching for the stars. There is a stark, skeletal beauty in their winter form. They are not dead. They are merely sleeping, conserving their energy. Reach out and touch the rough bark of an old apple tree. It feels cold and solid, anchored deep within the earth. Can you feel the slow, faint pulse of sap deep inside the wood? It is a heartbeat so slow that it takes a season to complete a single throb. The ground beneath our feet is soft, covered in a blanket of damp leaves. They muffle our footsteps completely, making us ghosts in the garden. The smell here is of wet soil and decaying matter, the scent of renewal. Nature is busy breaking down the old to feed the new. It is a perfect, waste-free cycle that has turned for millions of years. A late owl hoots softly from the branch of a walnut tree. Who the sound drifts across the misty field. It is a lonely sound, but not a sad one, just a signal of life in the dark. Look at the spaces between the trees, filled with shadows and mystery. The mist is rising from the ground, swirling around the trunks like white silk. It softens the world, blurring the hard lines of reality. In this garden, the fall of Rome feels like a distant rumor. The trees do not care who wears the purple or whose face is on the coin. They only know the sun, the rain, and the turning of the earth. This indifference is comforting. It puts our human worries into perspective. We are brief visitors here, but the land remains. There is a beehive in the corner, a woven skep covered for the winter. The bees are huddled together inside, keeping the queen warm. They are a single organism, breathing as one in the cold. Imagine shrinking down, joining their warm, buzzing cluster. Safe, protected, and purposeful, waiting for the first flowers of spring. A gentle breeze rattles the few remaining dried leaves on the branches. It sounds like the whispering of dry paper. Sha, sha. The garden is singing a lullaby to itself. You can lean against a tree trunk, letting it support your weight. Feel the stability of something that has stood in one spot for decades. It does not run. It does not fight. It simply is. Allow that stillness to transfer into your own body. Your roots are sinking down deep into the cool, dark soil. You are drinking in the peace of the earth. The night sky above is vast and indifferent, a canopy of diamond dust. But here under the branches, you are sheltered. The orchard wraps around you, a living sanctuary. Let the cold air clear your mind of all clutter. There is nothing to do here but breathe and exist. We leave the trees to their slumber, walking back towards the house. The peace of the garden walks with us. We leave the orchard's mist behind and walk towards the low stone building nearby. The smell of sweet hay and warm animal fur reaches us before we open the gate. This is the stable, a place of rest for the villa's loyal companions. The heavy wooden door creaks on its iron hinges, a sound of rustic familiarity. Inside, the air is thick and warm, heated by the bodies of the horses. It is a comforting warmth, different from the fire, more organic and alive. Only 3 stalls are occupied now. The great herds of the past are gone, but the few who remain are cared for with love and devotion. Listen to the rhythmic sound of their chewing crunch, crunch. It is a steady, meditative sound that slows down your own heartbeat. A gray mare lifts her head to look at us, her eyes large and liquid in the gloom. She blinks slowly, recognizing us as friends, not strangers. Reach out your hand and touch the velvet softness of her nose. Her breath puffs out, warm and moist against your palm. It smells of sweet grass and oats, a wholesome, clean scent. She nudges you gently, seeking a moment of connection in the quiet night. Stroke her neck, feel the strong muscle beneath the coarse winter coat. These animals have carried messages, pulled plows, and seen the empire change. Yet they carry no burden of history, only the simple needs of the moment. In the next stall, a donkey shifts its weight, its hooves clattering softly on the straw. It lets out a long, contented sigh, settling down for sleep. The straw bedding is piled high, golden yellow in the lantern light. It looks inviting, a soft nest in a world of hard stone. Dust motes dance in the shaft of light, swirling in the disturbed air. High in the rafters, a barn owl is roosting, watching with silent wisdom. The leather harnesses hanging on the wall are old and well, oiled. They gleam faintly, memories of journeys taken along the Roman roads, roads that are now silent, overgrown with grass and wildflowers. There is no need to travel far anymore. The world has become local again. The urgency of the courier has been replaced by the pace of the seasons. Lean against the wooden partition and close your eyes for a moment. Let the sounds of the stable wash over you like a gentle tide. The shifting of straw, the soft snorts, the settling of heavy bodies. It is a symphony of peace composed by living things. You feel a deep kinship with these creatures. Like them, you are safe here, sheltered from the cold wind outside. The decline of the world outside does not penetrate these thick walls. Here, life is reduced to its essentials: warmth, food, and rest. The mare lowers her head again, returning to her hay. She trusts the night, and she trusts the shelter of this roof. Borrow her trust, let it become your own. There is no danger here, no need to be alert. The darkness is a blanket tucking you in tight. Smell the leather, the wood, the hay, let them ground you. These are the scents of stability in a changing world. We are witnessing the slow, peaceful evening of an era. And in this evening, there is a profound and beautiful silence. We back away slowly, leaving the animals to their dreams. The door closes with a soft click, sealing the warmth inside. We stand outside again, under the vast canopy of stars. Leaving the stables, we follow a narrow path leading away from the villa. The gravel crunches softly beneath our feet, a whisper in the night. We are heading towards the Vineyards, the estate's sprawling vineyard. The air here is open and vast, carrying the chill of the distant hills. Rows upon rows of grapevines stretch out before us like sleeping soldiers. Their gnarled, twisted trunks are silhouettes against the moonlight. They look like ancient sculptures shaped by years of sun and wind. It is winter, and the vines are bare, resting before the burst of spring. Walk between the rows, reaching out to touch the rough wood. It feels dry and dormant, holding the memory of last summer's heat. The ground is uneven, rising and falling like the chest of a sleeping giant. Listen to the silence of the fields. It is absolute and profound. There are no crickets singing tonight, only the soft sigh of the breeze. In the distance, you can see a straight, pale line cutting through the landscape. It is the old Roman road, the Via, that leads to the capital. Once, this road thundered with the sound of legions and chariots. Couriers galloped past, carrying orders that changed the world. Now the road is quiet, the paving stones covered in soft moss. Grass is growing between the cracks, reclaiming the engineering of man. It is not a sad sight, but a peaceful one. The frantic energy of the empire has dissolved into the earth. The road is resting just like us. A white stone marker stands by the roadside, glowing in the dark. A milestone, marking the distance to a city that feels very far away. Ivy has wrapped around it, softening its hard edges. Nature does not rush. It moves slowly and inevitably. Look up at the moon. It is the same moon that shone on Caesar. It watches over the ruins and the growing grass with equal indifference. There is a sense of timelessness here, in the open field. You are standing on the edge of history, watching it fade. Take a deep breath of the cold, clean air. It tastes of frost and damp earth, clarifying your thoughts. Imagine yourself as a vine, rooted deep in the soil. You are not worried about the future or the past. You are simply waiting for the sun to rise, whenever that may be. The stars above seem brighter here, away from the lamps of the house. They form a vast, glittering dome, a roof for the whole world. Identify the plow or the Great Bear slowly turning around the pole. The cosmic clock ticks on, majestic and slow. A rabbit hops silently across the path, freezing when it sees us. Its nose twitches, sensing the peace in us, before it vanishes into the dark. We are just observers here, ghosts passing through the night. The villa behind us looks like a small, warm island in a sea of shadows. Its lights are comforting, but the darkness of the fields is liberating. Here, there are no walls to hold you, only the horizon. Let your gaze soften, blurring the line between earth and sky. Your mind is expanding, matching the vastness of the landscape. The worries of the day feel tiny out here, lost in the expanse. Peace comes from accepting the flow of time. Everything changes, everything passes, and yet life remains. We turn back towards the warmth, carrying the stillness of the fields with us. The vines bid us a silent farewell as we retrace our steps. We turn away from the vineyards, guiding our steps back towards the villa's outbuildings. The cold night air clings to our cloaks, but shelter is near. We approach a sturdy structure built of rough, hewn stone and timber. This is the torcularium, the pressing room, where the liquid gold of the estate is made. As we step inside, the smell hits us instantly thick, rich, and earthy. It is the scent of crushed olives, old wood, and centuries of oil soaking into the floor. The air here feels heavier than outside, viscous and slow moving. Hold the lamp high and look at the massive machinery sleeping in the shadows. The great wooden beam of the press, the prelum, hangs suspended in the dark. It is a giant trunk of oak, darkened by age and oil, stretching across the room. It looks like the limb of a sleeping titan, powerful even in repose. Beneath it lies the stone base, the ara, carved with circular channels. Run your hand along the circular grooves. They are slick and smooth to the touch. Generations of olives have been crushed here, their essence captured in these stones. Now, the press is raised, the heavy stone weights resting on the floor. The tension has been released. The work of the season is complete. There is a profound sense of relief in this room, a mechanical relaxation. Imagine the creaking and groaning of the wood when it is working. But tonight, there is only silence, a deep, heavy, oily silence. Dust motes float sluggishly in the beam of our light, trapped in the thick air. Against the wall, woven baskets, the fission, are stacked in a neat pile. They are dry and brittle now, waiting for the next harvest to be filled again. A large millstone stands in the corner, its rough surface resting against the wall. It is a monument to the simple, enduring physics of the ancient world. This machinery does not need repair. It does not rust or fail. It simply waits, patient and enduring, like the earth itself. The shadows cast by the press are long and angular, dissecting the room. They hide the corners where perhaps a dormouse has made a winter nest. You can feel the history of labor in this space, the echo of human effort. But the labor is finished, and the reward has been stored away. There is nothing left to do here but to admire the stillness. Take a deep breath of the pungent, savory air. It coats your throat, grounding you, making you feel heavy and calm. Visualize the pressure being lifted from your own mind, just like the press beam. The heavy weight is gone, leaving only space and peace. Your thoughts are flowing slowly now, like cold oil dripping into a jar. Smooth, golden, and without turbulence. Look at the clay jars standing ready to receive the next pressing. They are empty vessels, open and accepting, just as you should be. The darkness here is not frightening, it is productive and nurturing. It is the darkness of the soil where the seed splits. It is the darkness of the jar where the oil settles and clarifies. The room feels timeless, disconnected from the chaos of the changing world. Here, the laws of nature and mechanics are the only rulers. Gravity, leverage, friction, these are the eternal truths. Feel the stability of the stone floor beneath your sandals. It has supported this weight for 300 years. It will support you now, holding you up as you let go. We turn to leave, our movement slow and deliberate. The scent of the olives clings to us, a reminder of the earth's bounty. We step back out into the corridor, leaving the giant to its sleep. We step out of the heavy atmosphere of the press room. Crossing the gravel courtyard, we find a smaller, open-fronted shed. This is the officina, the workshop where the estate's pottery is made. The smell here is distinct, cool, damp, and mineral. It is the scent of the riverbank, of raw earth waiting to be shaped. Moonlight spills onto the workbench, illuminating a silent potter's wheel. It is a simple wooden disc, worn smooth by the friction of spinning. Imagine the rhythm of the potter's foot, kicking the heavy flywheel below. But tonight, the wheel is still, resting on its axis. On the shelves, rows of drying bowls and cups sit in the dark. They are not the fine, red, glossed dishes of the early empire. These are simple, gray vessels, thick, walled, and practical. They tell a story of necessity of a world turning inwards. Pick up a small unbaked cup. Be careful, it is still fragile. You can feel the cold moisture of the clay against your skin. Look closely, there is a faint fingerprint left on the rim. A ghost of the maker, frozen in the earth forever. It is a humble mark, a signature of the human hand. In the corner stands the kiln, a beehive, shaped oven built of brick. It is cold now, its mouth black with soot from the last firing. Beside it lies a pile of kindling, gathered from the nearby woods. The cycle of creation is paused here, suspended in the night. There is something soothing about the potential of raw clay. It can be anything: a lamp, a bowl, a tile for the roof. It is formless, waiting for intention to give it shape. Just as we are waiting in this quiet moment between eras, the tools of the trade lie scattered on the bench. A wooden rib, a cutting wire, a sponge dried hard as stone. They are simple tools, unchanged for 1,000 years. Civilizations may rise and fall, but the potter's craft remains. Listen to the wind rustling through the open sides of the shed. It dries the clay slowly, turning it from dark gray to pale bone. Patience is the most important tool here. If you rush the drying, the vessel will crack in the fire. It teaches us to slow down, to respect the natural process. The villa needs these simple things to survive. It no longer relies on ships from Africa or traders from the East. It stands on its own feet, rooted in its own soil. There is a dignity in this self-reliance, a feeling that even if the world breaks, we can make it anew. With our own hands, with the earth beneath our feet. Put the cup back gently on the shelf. Leave it to its long, slow drying in the dark. The shadows in the workshop are soft and dusty. They wrap around the unfinished forms like protective cotton. We are witnessing the quiet resilience of life. The art has changed, become simpler, but it has not stopped. Let the smell of the damp clay ground you one last time. It is the smell of beginnings. We turn away, leaving the silent wheel behind us, moving on to discover what else the night holds. We leave the cool dampness of the pottery shed behind. Our path takes us back towards the main house, to a room near the women's quarters. We enter the textrinum, the weaving room, a space of warmth and soft textures. The air here is thick with the smell of raw wool and lanolin. It is a heavy, animal scent, comforting and deeply familiar. In the center of the room stands the great vertical loom. It rises towards the ceiling like a wooden harp, waiting to be played. The warped threads hang down straight and taut, weighted by small clay stones. These stones, the loom weights, gently pull the fabric towards the earth. They look like a row of raindrops frozen in stone. Imagine the sound of the shuttle passing back and forth, swish, thud. It is the heartbeat of the household, a rhythm that marks the hours. Tonight, the work has paused, but the presence of the weavers remains. A basket of carded wool sits by a stool, looking like a cloud brought indoors. Reach out and sink your fingers into the fleece. It is incredibly soft, oily, and warm to the touch. It holds the heat of the sheep that grazed on the hills last summer. This wool will become a cloak, a blanket, a tunic to ward off the winter. There is magic in this transformation from chaotic fluff to orderly cloth. On a small table lies a spindle and whorl, carved from bone. The thread wound around it is thin and even, a testament to skilled fingers. It reminds us of the fates, the parka, who spin the thread of life. Clotho spins, Lachesis measures, and Atropos cuts. But here, there is no cutting, only the endless spinning of continuity. The fabric on the loom is a simple, undyed cream color. The expensive Tyrian purples are gone, replaced by the honest hues of nature. This simplicity is not a loss, it is a return to purity. Run your hand over the woven surface of the cloth. You can feel the grit of the weave, the over and under of the threads. It is a structure of immense strength, created by many fragile things combined. Just like the family, just like the community surviving the fall. Shadows from the oil lamp dance across the hanging threads. They create patterns that shift and change. Like ripples in water, there is a sense of timeless patience in this room. Weaving cannot be rushed. It requires a steady hand and a calm mind. The room feels enclosed and protective, lined with shelves of folded linen. It absorbs sound, creating a muffled, hushed atmosphere. You feel wrapped up, swaddled in the layers of the villa's labor. Outside, the wind might be howling, but here it is just a distant murmur. The loom stands guard, a silent sentinel of civilization. As long as the shuttle flies, there will be clothes, there will be warmth. Visualize the thread connecting you to the past, an unbroken line. It stretches back through the centuries, through hands just like yours. You are part of the tapestry now, woven into the story. The repetition of the weave is a lullaby for your eyes. Over, under, over, under a hypnotic pattern. Let your thoughts follow the thread, smoothing out the knots in your mind. The tension in your shoulders unspools like yarn. You are soft, you are flexible, you are at peace. The room holds you in its soft embrace, shielding you from the hard stone. Rest here for a moment. In the sanctuary of the cloth, we turn to leave, stepping softly so as not to break the spell. The smell of the wool stays with us, a warm memory. From the soft embrace of the wool, we step out into the crisp night air again. We cross the courtyard to a building with walls blackened by years of smoke. This is the fabrica, the smithy, where iron is bent to the will of man. The door is heavy, reinforced with iron bands made in this very room. Inside, the air tastes metallic and sharp on the tongue. It is the scent of cold iron, charcoal dust, and old sweat. a smell of hard work and transformation, now resting for the night. In the center of the room stands the anvil, a massive block of iron on a tree stump. It is the altar of this temple of labor, silent and immovable. Touch its surface, it is impossibly cold and smooth as glass. Think of the thousands of hammer blows it has absorbed without breaking. It is a symbol of endurance, taking the hits and remaining whole. Beside it, the forge is dark, a pile of gray ash sleeping in the grate. The fire that roared here during the day has been allowed to die down. But the heat still radiates faintly from the bricks, a ghost of the flame. Hanging on the walls are the tools of the estate's scythes, hoes, and axes. They gleam dully in the moonlight, waiting for the hands of the workers. Once, this forge might have repaired the armor of a legionary. Now, it repairs the plowshare that turns the earth. Swords have literally been beaten into plowshares here. The focus has shifted from conquest to survival, from death to life. There is a bucket of water near the anvil, used for quenching hot metal. The surface is dark and still, a mirror for the shadows of the roof. A pair of heavy tongs rests on the floor, their jaws open like a resting beast. The silence here is heavy, weighted down by the density of the metal. It is a grounding silence, pulling you down towards the earth. You can feel the gravity in this room, solid and reassuring. Iron does not float. It does not drift away like thoughts. It stays where it is put, reliable and true. Lean against the sturdy wooden workbench and let your eyes adjust. Scattered around are nails, hinges, and unrecognizable scraps of metal. Each one is a potential fix, a solution waiting to happen. The villa holds itself together with these small pieces of iron, just as you hold yourself together with small moments of rest. Imagine the rhythmic clang, clang, clang of the hammer. Slow it down. In your mind, clang, clang, clang. Let the imaginary sound beat a slow rhythm for your breathing. Inhale, clang, exhale, silence. The chaotic sparks of the day have all burned out. Only the strength of the finished form remains. There is no rust here, only the patina of use and care. Even as the empire crumbles, the iron remains strong. It reminds us that the core things, the essential things, do not break easily. You possess that same strength within you, hidden beneath the surface, a core of iron that can withstand the hammer blows of life. Let the cold stability of the anvil seep into your bones. You are heavy, you are solid, you are grounded. The darkness of the smithy is a cloak of protection. Nothing can penetrate this hardness. You are safe here. We leave the iron to its cold sleep, stepping back towards the door. The metallic taste fades, replaced by the clean night air. We move on, carrying the weight of peace with us, leaving the smell of iron behind. We walk towards the edge of the estate. The path here is less traveled, the stones hidden beneath tufts of winter grass. We are approaching the porta, the main gate that separates us from the world. It stands tall and imposing against the night sky, a silhouette of strength. The walls on either side are built of local limestone, thick and reassuring. Ivy has climbed up the rough stones, softening the harsh lines of defense. Nature is slowly hugging the architecture, reclaiming the stone for itself. The great wooden doors are closed and barred for the night. They are made of seasoned oak, dark and scarred by centuries of weather. Run your hand over the wood feel, the deep grooves of the grain. It feels like touching the skin of an ancient, sleeping elephant. There is a small Judah's window, a peephole set into the wood at eye level. It is covered by a rusted iron grill, cold to the touch. Lean close and look through the square of darkness. Outside, the world stretches away into an infinite, shadowy void. There are no torches burning on the road, no distant fires of encampments. The legions have long since marched away, leaving only silence in their wake. Once a guard would have stood here, alert and watching for danger. Now, the stone bench in the alcove is empty, covered in a drift of dry leaves. The spear has been laid down, the shield hangs rusting on a nail. But there is no fear in this absence, only a sense of deep quiet. The danger has passed, or perhaps it has simply become irrelevant. The villa has become its own world, complete and self-contained. Listen to the wind whistling softly through the cracks in the gate. Hu-oh, whoosh a lonely, wandering sound. It tells stories of empty plains and forgotten cities. But the wind cannot enter here. The bar holds firm. Look at the heavy iron bolt that secures the doors. It is slid into place, a definitive no to the chaos outside. There is a profound satisfaction in seeing a locked door. It defines the space. Inside is safety. Outside is everything else. You are on the right side of the wall. A small lantern hangs from a hook in the archway, swaying gently. Its flame is weak, casting moving shadows that dance on the stones. It is a beacon not for travelers, but for the house itself. A reminder that someone is still home, still keeping the watch. The archway above us amplifies the sound of our own breathing. Inhale and hear the echo of your own life. Exhale and let it mix with the history of this place. The mortar between the stones is crumbling in places, turning to dust. If you touch it, grains of sand fall away onto your hand. Time is slowly unmaking the wall, grain by grain. But for tonight, and for many nights to come, it will hold. There is peace in accepting the temporary nature of all things. Even stone must eventually yield to time. But right now, it shelters you, blocking out the cold wind. Lean your back against the solid masonry and look back at the villa. You can see the warm glow of the windows in the distance. It looks like a cluster of stars fallen to earth. That warmth is yours to return to. The gate stands between you and the void, a silent, faithful friend. Thank the stone for its service, for its heavy, silent strength. We turn our backs to the wild world outside, walking back towards the heart of the home, feeling lighter. The boundary is set, and the night is yours. We turn away from the gate, seeking the shelter of the walls once more. To our left, a narrow set of stone steps leads downwards into the shadows. This is the entrance to the cryptoporticus, the hidden gallery of the villa. It is a semi-subterranean tunnel built to be cool in summer and warm in winter. As we descend, the air changes instantly, becoming still and dry. We are entering the spine of the house, the secret artery connecting its parts. The ceiling is vaulted, a long arch of brickwork stretching into the dark. Our footsteps here sound heavy and deliberate boom, boom, boom. The acoustics are strange, amplifying the smallest sound into a whisper. High up on the walls, narrow slit windows, known as wolf's mouths, let in the night. They allow thin beams of moonlight to slice through the darkness like silver blades. Dust motes dance in these shafts of light, suspended in the stagnant air. The walls are plastered in white, though patches of damp have created maps of unknown lands. Here, the villa stores its discarded memories, things no longer needed upstairs. We pass a stack of old roof tiles, covered in a thick layer of gray dust. They wait patiently for a repair that may never come. Further along, a marble bust sits on the floor, facing the wall. It is an old emperor, perhaps Trajan or Hadrian, his nose chipped away. He has been retired here, watching over the spiders instead of the Senate. There is no disrespect in this, only the practical shifting of eras. The past is not erased. It is simply moved to the basement. Touch the plaster of the wall, it feels chalky and cool under your fingertips. You can feel the immense weight of the house resting above us. We are walking through the foundations, the roots of the architecture. It feels safe down here, like being inside the belly of a sleeping whale. The storms of the world cannot reach this deep. There is a smell of old lime and dry earth, a scent of preservation. It is the smell of a museum before the visitors arrive. A lizard scurries across the wall, its claws clicking softly on the stone. It pauses in a beam of moonlight, pulsing with life, then vanishes. Even here, in the dark, life finds a way to exist. The tunnel seems to go on forever, a physical manifestation of time. Walking it feels like walking back through the centuries. The further we go, the quieter it becomes, if that is even possible. Your mind begins to match the emptiness of the corridor. Thoughts slow down, echoing against the vaulted ceiling before fading away. There is no need to speak, no need to explain anything. The silence understands you perfectly. You pass an alcove where an old oil lamp has been left long dry. It sits there like a sentinel that has fallen asleep at its post. The shadows stretch out ahead of us, inviting us deeper into the peace. This is not a place of fear. It is a place of hibernation. The villa is dreaming down here, remembering its golden days. And you are walking through its dream, a welcome guest. Let the coolness of the tunnel soothe any remaining heat in your blood. You are insulated, protected, and hidden from view. There is a profound freedom in being unseen. We reach the end of the passage, where a staircase leads back up to the light. But pause for one last moment in the comforting dark. Absorb the stability of the earth that surrounds you. Then, slowly, we begin to climb back towards the living world. We emerge from the underground tunnel, finding a spiral staircase at the end. The stone steps are narrow and steep, worn by generations of centuries. We are ascending to the specula, the old watchtower of the villa. The air grows colder and fresher with every turn of the spiral. We push open the trapdoor at the top and step out onto the platform. The wind greets us here, stronger than below, tugging gently at our clothes. We are high above the world now, closer to the heavens. Look out over the landscape. It is a patchwork of silver and black. You can see the roof of the villa below, a dark island of tiles. Chimney smoke rises from the kitchen, a thin gray ribbon against the night. It signals that life continues down there, warm and persistent. But look further to the horizon, where the earth meets the sky. Once, signal fires would have dotted the hills, passing messages of warning. Tonight, the hills are dark, sleeping under the blanket of night. There are no signals coming, no news from Rome or Ravenna. The empire has gone quiet, shrinking back to local concerns. The stone parapet is rough under your hands, crusted with lichen. Lean over carefully and look at the tops of the cypress trees. They sway gently, pointing like dark fingers towards the stars. Above us, the Milky Way stretches across the sky, a river of light. The Via Lactea, the path of the gods, brilliant and clear. It looks exactly the same as it did when the foundations were laid. The indifference of the stars is a comfort, not a cruelty. They remind us that our troubles are small and fleeting. There is an old bronze brazier here, cold and filled with rainwater. It has not been lit for years. There is no one left to signal to. Touch the cold metal, feel the history of vigilance it holds. A nightjar flies past, its strange, churring call breaking the silence. It is the only other sentinel awake at this hour. You feel a sense of clarity up here, detached from the earth. The problems of the ground floor seem very far away. You are the captain of this stone ship, sailing through the night. The wind blows through your hair, clearing away the cobwebs of the mind. Inhale the purity of the upper air sharp, and exhilarating. It tastes of ozone and distant rain. You can see the curve of the valley, the path of the river. The geography remains, even as the borders dissolve. There is a peace in seeing the big picture, to see how the villa sits in the landscape, a small part of a whole. You are not trapped in the timeline of history. You are floating above it, an eternal observer. The vastness is not empty. It is full of potential. The dark hills are not threatening. They are resting. Let your gaze trace the line of the horizon one last time. Memorize the shape of the world in this peaceful moment. We turn away from the edge, ready to descend back to warmth. But we carry the perspective of the tower with us, the knowledge that the stars are still watching. We descend the spiral stairs, leaving the cold wind of history behind. The air warms up as we return to the inhabited level of the villa. We walk softly down the hallway, stopping at a door left slightly ajar. Inside, a nightlight burns low, casting a gentle orange glow. This is the nursery, where the youngest members of the household sleep. The atmosphere here is different from the rest of the house. It is lighter, sweeter, smelling of milk and warm flannel. 2 small beds are pushed against the wall, covered in soft sheepskins. Listen closely. Can you hear the soft, rhythmic breathing? In out and out. It is the most peaceful sound in the world, the sound of total trust. On the floor, a wooden horse lies on its side, its painted wheels still. It was pulled across the mosaic floor all day, a chariot of imagination. Now it rests, its journey over for the night. Beside it, a rag doll with yarn hair sits propped against a chest. She watches over her charges with button eyes, a silent guardian. These toys know nothing of emperors or taxes or crumbling borders. To them, and to the children, the villa is the whole world. It is a fortress of safety, vast and eternal. Walk closer to the bed and look at the sleeping face of the child. One hand is curled into a loose fist, resting on the pillow. The skin is flawless, unmarred by the worries that line the faces of adults. They are dreaming of tomorrow's games, of chasing geese in the yard. They do not know that they are living at the end of an era. And perhaps it does not matter. Childhood is its own kingdom, separate from time. A draft moves the curtain, and the child stirs slightly, murmuring a word. Maybe they are calling for a parent or whispering to a dream friend. Then they settle back into the deep, heavy sleep of youth. You feel a surge of protectiveness standing here. This is what the walls are for. This is what the iron gate protects. Not the gold in the vault, but this breath, this life. The future is sleeping right here, blissfully unaware. Even if the Roman world fades, these children will grow. They will learn to plant the vine, to spin the wool, to build. They are the seeds of the new world that will come after. There is hope in this room, a quiet, stubborn hope. On a small shelf, there is a clay rattle and a polished river stone. Treasures found in the garden, more valuable here than jewels. The simplicity of their needs is a lesson to us. Warmth, love, and a place to rest their heads. The shadows in the room are friendly, playing hide and seek in the corners. The nightlight flickers, but it does not go out. It is a small star in a domestic galaxy. Let the innocence of this room wash away your cynicism. Let the purity of their sleep relax your own tired mind. You are safe here, guarded by the power of parental love. The anxiety of the outside world stops at this threshold. Here, everything is exactly as it should be. We back away slowly, careful not to creak the floorboards, leaving the dreamers to their adventures. We carry the warmth of this room in our hearts as we leave. The future is safe for tonight. Leaving the warmth of the nursery, we step back into the quiet hallway. Our journey takes us to a part of the house that is rarely used now. We stop before a tall door made of polished walnut wood. This is the hospitium, the guest chamber, always kept ready, even though travelers are few and far between these days. We turn the handle and the door opens with a smooth, silent motion. The room inside is cool, preserved in a state of perfect anticipation. The air is still, smelling of dried rose petals and beeswax polish. It is the scent of a room that is waiting for someone to arrive. In the center, a large bed is made up with crisp, white linens. The sheets are pulled tight without a single wrinkle to mar their surface. A woolen blanket, dyed in saffron yellow, is folded neatly at the foot. It is a splash of color in the monochrome moonlight. Beside the bed, a wash basin and pitcher stand on a tripod. The pitcher is empty, but the ceramic is clean and shining. This readiness is a point of honor for the villa. It says that civilization has not been forgotten here. The sacred duty to the stranger is still upheld, even in silence. Walk to the window and push open the wooden shutters. The view looks out towards the main gate and the road beyond. Once this room would have hosted senators, merchants, and poets. You can almost hear the echo of their philosophical debates, the clinking of wine cups, the laughter of old friends reuniting. Now, the only guest is the moonlight streaming across the floor. It paints a pale rectangle on the mosaic, shifting slowly with the hour. Sit on the curule chair placed in the corner. The leather seat creaks softly under your weight, a sound of welcome. You are the guest tonight, filling the void with your presence. Imagine the weariness of a traveler finally reaching this sanctuary. The relief of taking off dusty sandals and washing the face. That feeling of safety is captured here, stored within the walls. The room does not feel abandoned. It feels patient. It has the dignity of a butler standing at attention. On the wall, A fresco depicts Hermes, the god of travelers. His winged sandals are faded, but he still smiles benevolently. He watches over the empty bed, guarding the sleep of the absent. There is a profound peace in this emptiness. It is a space cleared of all clutter, all noise, all demand. It invites you to empty your own mind in the same way, to prepare a space within yourself for silence to enter. The shadows in the folds of the curtains are deep and velvety. They absorb the light, creating a cocoon of darkness. Run your finger along the rim of the bedside table. There is no dust here. The slaves still clean this room daily. This ritual of cleaning is an act of hope, a belief that the roads will open again, that friends will return, or perhaps simply a refusal to let standards slip. In a crumbling world, maintaining order is an act of rebellion. Feel the quiet strength of that discipline. It holds the room together just as it holds the empire together. You can rest here for a moment, enjoying the solitude. No one will disturb you. No one is looking for you. You are hidden in the house of waiting. We stand up, smoothing the cushion of the chair. We leave the room exactly as we found it, perfect and poised. Closing the shutters, we shut out the empty road. The room returns to its slumber, waiting for the next knock. We leave the perfectly kept guest room and move down the corridor. Our footsteps are soft, barely disturbing the dust motes in the air. We arrive at a room with high ceilings, designed for acoustics. This is the Odeum, the music room, where the family once gathered to listen. Now, the room is filled with a thick, resonant silence. In the center, on a small stand, rests a cithara, a large lyre. Its wooden frame is polished, gleaming faintly in the shadows. The strings are still taut, holding the tension of a song unsung. Imagine the vibration of those strings humming in the dark. But no hand is there to pluck them tonight. The music has stopped, but the memory of the melody remains. It is trapped in the wood, in the walls, in the very air. Nearby, a set of pan flutes, the syrinx, lies on a silk cloth. They look like a row of cut reeds, simple and rustic. The breath that once filled them has long since exhaled. There is a melancholy beauty in an instrument at rest. It is a vessel of potential, waiting for the inspiration of breath. Listen, can you hear the wind singing outside the window? It whistles through the cypress trees, a natural flute. The villa has traded the complex scales of Rome for the simple songs of the earth. Walk to the fresco on the wall, depicting Apollo with his lyre. His face is serene, lost in the rapture of his own creation. He reminds us that art is eternal, even if the audience is gone. The floor here is made of wood, not stone, to warm the sound. It creaks gently as the house settles into the deeper night. Creak, crack a slow, wooden rhythm. It is the house stretching its old bones. Sit on the floor cushion and close your eyes. Let your sense of hearing expand into the silence. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it is a presence. It is a canvas upon which your mind can paint its own tunes. Imagine a slow, mournful tune played on a distant flute. Let it weave through your thoughts, calming the chaos. The notes float like leaves on a slow, moving river, drifting away further and further downstream. The tension in your jaw releases as you listen to the imaginary song. Your breathing aligns with the slow tempo of the night. There is no need for applause here, no need for performance. Just the pure, unadulterated experience of being. A moth flutters against the ceiling, its wings beating softly. Flutter, flutter, a tiny percussion in the dark. It is drawn to the memory of light, just as we are drawn to the past. The darkness here is acoustic, wrapping around you like velvet. It dampens the sharp edges of the world. You are in a cocoon of soundlessness. The empire outside may be noisy with swords and shouting, but here, the harmony of the spheres still reigns supreme. The planets turn in their silent orbits, governed by perfect math. This room is attuned to that cosmic order. Feel the vibration of the earth beneath the floorboards. A low, steady hum that anchors you to reality. The concert is over. The musicians have slept. And now it is your turn to find peace in the quiet. Let the silence fill your ears like warm water. We rise slowly, leaving the instruments to their slumber, moving on, carrying the ghost of a melody in our hearts. We leave the melody of the music room behind, stepping back into the quiet. We approach the tablinum, the master's study, located between the atrium and the garden. This is the brain of the villa, where the business of the estate is conducted. The heavy curtains are drawn back, revealing a room of serious intent. The air smells of ink, dry papyrus, and the faint metallic tang of bronze. In the center stands a large desk, cluttered with the tools of administration. Stacks of wooden tablets coated in black wax await the stylus. They contain the records of the harvest, the lists of supplies, the names of slaves. Pick up a stylus. It is sharp on one end for writing, flat on the other for erasing. It is a symbol of the power to create and to destroy memory. But tonight, the wax is cold and hard, holding no new commands. A scroll lies half open, held down by a bronze paperweight shaped like a lion. It is a tax record from years ago, demanding tribute for Rome. The numbers are neat and precise, columns of logic in a chaotic world. But the courier who collects them has not come this season. The chain of command is broken, leaving the villa to govern itself. On the wall hangs a map of the empire, painted on linen. The borders are drawn in red, stretching from the foggy north to the burning south. But look closely, the colors are fading, the lines becoming blurred. The map shows a world that no longer exists in reality. It is a ghost geography, preserved only in this quiet room. A strong box, the arca, sits in the corner, bound in iron straps. It once held the coin of the realm, the silver denarii with the emperor's face. Now, it holds seeds, more valuable than silver in these times. The definition of wealth has shifted from abstract metal to living grain. Behind the desk stands the master's chair, high, backed and imposing. It is empty now, a throne without a king. The velvet cushion is indented, holding the shape of the one who sat there. Imagine the weight of responsibility that was carried in this chair. The worry for the family, for the crops, for the future. That worry hangs in the air like a fine mist. But tonight, the ledger is closed, the calculations are done. There is a peace in knowing that some things are beyond our control. The empire may fall, but the ink remains on the page. A small oil lamp burns on the corner of the desk, its flame steady. It illuminates a seal ring left carelessly on a tray. The gemstone is carved with the family crest, a tiny masterpiece. It was used to seal letters, to mark ownership, to assert identity. Now it rests, its authority limited to these four walls. The shadows in the room are long and rectangular, mimicking the shelves. Rows of scroll cases, capsi, line the walls like silent sentinels. They hold the wisdom of the ancestors, the legal precedents, the old contracts. They are a library of order, waiting for a time when order returns. You can hear the settling of the house around you, a deep, structural groan. It is the sound of history shifting its weight. Run your hand over the smooth wood of the desk. Feel the grain, polished by years of nervous fingers. This room is a testament to the human desire to organize the world, even when the world refuses to be organized. There is a noble futility in it, a stubborn beauty. We are the archivists of the end, witnessing the final entry. Let the stillness of the study calm your own busy thoughts. Put down your mental list of tasks. They can wait. Here, in the presence of the past, only the moment matters. We turn to leave, respecting the privacy of the empty chair. The map watches us go, its borders dissolving in the dark. We step away from the master's desk, leaving the fading maps behind. A draft guides us down a narrow side passage, away from the main halls. We stop before a modest wooden door, the wood stained dark by fumes. This is the medicamentaria, the apothecary, the healing heart of the house. Before we even enter, the air grows heavy with a complex, spicy sweetness. Push the door open and breathe in deeply. Let the aroma fill your lungs. It is a blend of dried sage, rosemary, lavender, and bitter wormwood. The smell is sharp and cleansing, clearing the fog from your mind. Inside, the room is lined with shelves holding hundreds of small jars. Some are glass, blown thin and delicate, holding precious oils. Others are clay, sealed with wax. guarding potent powders. Bundles of dried herbs hang from the ceiling beams like a forest upside down. They sway gently in the air current, releasing fresh bursts of scent. Walk over to the heavy stone mortar and pestle sitting on the workbench. It is stained green and brown from years of crushing leaves and roots. Imagine the rhythmic grinding sound: crush, grind, crush, grind. It is the sound of extracting the earth's secrets to soothe human pain. But tonight, the pestle is at rest, the work of healing paused. There is a small bronze scale here, balanced perfectly in the stillness. It reminds us that health is a matter of balance, of finding the right measure. A bowl of dried rose hips sits nearby, glowing like rubies in the lamplight. They are waiting to be turned into syrup, a sweet remedy for the winter cold. The knowledge in this room is older than the empire itself. It is the wisdom of the grandmothers, passed down in whispers. While the legions fail to protect the borders, these herbs still protect the body. Nature does not forget how to heal, even when civilization forgets how to rule. Touch the smooth surface of a blue glass vial. It feels cool and precious, a jewel of practical magic. Inside, a thick amber liquid moves slowly, like liquid time. Perhaps it is poppy syrup, the bringer of sleep and forgetfulness. Or maybe balm of Gilead, to soothe the weary traveler's feet. There is a comfort in knowing that there is a remedy for every ailment. The room feels like a sanctuary, a place where pain is understood and treated. The shadows here are soft, filtered through the hanging leaves. They create a dappled pattern on the floor, like sunlight under trees. A small lizard rests on the windowsill, attracted by the warmth of the room. It is a silent companion, watching the jars with unblinking eyes. You feel a sense of safety here, surrounded by the earth's bounty. The anxiety of illness, the fear of the body failing, fades away. Here, there is only the quiet confidence of the cure. Inhale the scent of the dried mint. One last time. It opens your chest, allowing you to breathe easier and deeper. Your body feels lighter, cleansed by the very atmosphere of the room. The tension in your muscles melts away like wax near a flame. You are being looked after, cared for by the spirits of the plants. There is no rush to leave this fragrant cocoon. Let the healing silence seep into your pores. We turn slowly, careful not to disturb the delicate balance of the scales, leaving the medicine to its potent slumber. We carry the scent of peace on our skin as we walk away. The scent of herbs lingers faintly as we step back into the corridor. We follow a faint sound of trickling water, distinct from the baths. It leads us to a secluded grotto at the edge of the formal gardens. This is the Nymphaeum, a sanctuary dedicated to the water spirits. The structure is half natural rock, half carved marble, blending into the earth. It is darker here, shaded by ancient, overhanging laurels. The air is cool and moist, touching your face like a wet leaf. In the center stands a statue of a nymph, pouring water from a jar. Her marble features are softened by a cloak of emerald green moss. Nature is slowly dressing her, reclaiming the stone for the forest. The water flows from her jar in a thin, crystalline thread. Splash, splash, splash. It falls into a semicircular basin, creating ripples that never end. The aqueducts that fed the great cities may be running dry. But this water comes from a deep spring older than Rome itself. It does not depend on engineers or emperors to flow. It is a pulse of the earth, constant and reliable. Lean closer and look into the basin's dark depths. Reflected there is the moon, dancing on the disturbed surface. At the bottom, you can see the glint of copper and silver coins. Offerings made by generations of the family, wishes cast into the water. Some are old and worn, bearing the faces of forgotten Caesars. Others are new, thrown in just yesterday with a silent prayer. The water accepts them all, guarding the secrets entrusted to it. Ferns grow in the cracks of the masonry, their fronds unfurling. They drink the mist, thriving in this quiet, damp corner. There is a smell of wet stone and algae, a primordial scent. It takes you back to the beginning of time, before cities were built. Sit on the limestone ledge that circles the pool. The stone is cold, but it grounds you to the reality of the moment. Close your eyes and let the sound of the water fill your mind. It washes away the dust of thoughts, the debris of worry. Imagine the water flowing through you, clear and purifying. It carries away tension, leaving only fluidity and grace. The nymph watches over you, her mossy eyes filled with patience. She has seen the villa rise, and she watches it gently age. She is not sad. She knows that water always finds a way. A frog croaks softly from the edge of the pool ribbit. It is the guardian of this wet temple, breaking the silence. You are part of this ecosystem now, a quiet observer. The decline of the villa is not a tragedy here. It is a transformation. Stone becomes soil, order becomes wilderness. There is beauty in this softness, in this lack of rigid lines. The hard edges of the empire are dissolving into the green. Feel the peace of surrendering to the flow. You do not need to swim against the current tonight. Just float, supported by the deep waters of history. The sound of the fountain is a lullaby that never ends. We rise slowly, feeling cleansed and renewed. We leave the nymph to her eternal pouring, walking back towards the path water, soothed and calm. Refreshed by the nymph's water, we walk back towards the main building. We enter the long ambulacrum, the covered walkway that connects the wings of the villa. This is not just a corridor. It is a gallery of stories laid out in stone. The moonlight enters through the colonnade, casting striped shadows on the floor. Look down at the path beneath your sandals. Millions of tiny colored stones, tesserae, fitted together by patient hands. They depict the great myths, the bedrock of Roman belief. Here is Orpheus, sitting on a rock, playing his lyre to the animals. A tiger and a deer lie together at his feet, tamed by the music. But look closely, Orpheus's face is cracked, a fissure running through his cheek. The music he plays is silent now, lost in the noise of history. And here is Hercules, wrestling the Nemean lion. The struggle is eternal, frozen in a moment of supreme effort. But some of the tiles are missing from the lion's mane, revealing the mortar beneath. It looks as if the beast is slowly dissolving into the ground. These images were meant to last forever, to teach virtue and strength. Now they are worn smooth by the passage of countless feet. The bright reds have turned to rust, the blues to gray. It is a visual echo of the empire itself, grand, beautiful, and fading. Walk slowly, tracing the geometric border with your eyes. The labyrinth pattern symbolizes the confusing journey of life. We are all wandering in the maze, looking for the center. There is a loose tile underfoot click, a small sound that breaks the stillness of the gallery. It reminds you that the house is aging, its joints are loosening. But there is a softness to this decay that is not unpleasant. It feels like the house is relaxing, letting go of the need to be perfect. In the corners, dust has gathered in soft, gray drifts. It softens the hard angles of the architecture. A cool breeze flows down the length of the hall, carrying the scent of night jasmine. It whispers over the stone faces of gods and heroes. They do not mind the neglect. They have played their part. Now they rest in the shadows, watched over only by the moon. Imagine the children who once ran down this hall, laughing. Their ghosts seem to skip over the figures of legend. To them, this was just a floor. To us, it is a monument. There is a bench halfway down, placed for those who wish to ponder the art. Sit for a moment and trace the curve of a vine leaf with your toe. Connect with the artisan who placed this stone here 3 centuries ago. His name is forgotten, but his work remains, holding the roof of memory. The silence of the corridor is long and stretched out. It links the bustling kitchen to the quiet bedrooms, the past to the present. You are walking on the spine of the house. Feel the solidity of the ground, even as the images fade. The foundation is strong, even if the decoration is crumbling. That is a lesson for the soul. Character remains when beauty fades. We rise and continue our walk, leaving the stone heroes to their eternal struggle. The sound of our sandals fades into the dark. We are moving closer to the final rest. The mosaic corridor leads us to the oldest part of the villa, the west wing. Here, The air changes, becoming sharper and smelling of damp earth. We step through an archway, and suddenly, the ceiling is gone. We are standing in a room where the roof has quietly given way to time. The stars are the only canopy now, shining down on the debris. Moonlight floods the space, turning the rubble into a landscape of silver and shadow. In the center lies a broken column, snapped like a dry twig. It rests on a bed of wild grass that has pushed up through the floor. This is the ruina, the gentle collapse, the future of the entire house. It is not a scene of violence, but of slow, inevitable surrender. Nature has entered here, not as an invader, but as a guest who decided to stay. Vines drape elegantly over the jagged edges of the broken walls. They soften the destruction, turning ruin into art. A young fig tree has taken root in the corner, its leaves rustling softly. It draws life from the crumbling mortar, feeding on the past. Walk carefully over the uneven ground stones. Shift beneath your feet. There is a profound stillness here, deeper than in the inhabited rooms. It is the silence of things that have stopped fighting. Touch the rough surface of a fallen brick. It is cold and wet with dew, returning to the clay from which it came. Dust to dust, stone to earth, the cycle is completing itself. There is no sadness here, only a sense of completion. The villa is slowly becoming part of the hill it stands on. Imagine the seasons passing over this roofless room. Rain washing the floor, sun bleaching the paint, snow covering the cracks. It is being cleansed by the elements, stripped of its human pretensions. An owl sits, perched on the rim of the broken wall, watching us. Its silhouette is dark against the moon, a guardian of the decay. It hoots once a sound that echoes in the hollow shell of the room. We are witnessing the architecture of mortality. Just as the empire falls, so too must its monuments. But look at the beauty that remains in the skeleton. The arch that still stands is noble, framing the night sky. It holds its shape against the void, a testament to Roman engineering. You can sit on a block of marble that was once a door lintel. Let the coolness seep through your clothes, waking up your senses. You are sitting on the wreckage of history, and you are safe. The collapse has already happened. There is nothing left to fear. Acceptance flows through you like the cool night air. To build is human, but to fall is natural. We are all temporary structures housing a spirit for a little while. Look up at the constellations through the jagged frame of the wall. They have watched this room be built, lived in, and abandoned. They will watch the grass cover it completely in the centuries to come. This perspective is liberating. It lifts the weight from your shoulders. You do not have to hold everything together. You can let go, just as this room has let go. There is peace in the wreckage, a quiet, slumbering peace. We turn back towards the intact part of the house, moving from wildness to order. But we take the lesson of the ruin with us, the grace of letting go. Leaving the beautiful decay of the ruin, we follow a path lined with dark trees. These are the cypresses, the mournful guardians of the dead. They stand tall and straight, pointing towards the heavens like green fingers. The path leads us to a small, circular building made of white marble. This is the sepulchrum, the family mausoleum, the final resting place. The door is bronze, green with age, and stands slightly ajar. There is no lock here, for the dead have nothing left to steal. We step inside, and the silence instantly deepens, becoming solid. The air is cold, smelling of dry stone and faded incense. Moonlight filters through the open dome above, illuminating the interior. Along the walls, niches hold the urns of those who came before, and in the center, two large sarcophagi rest side by side. They are carved with scenes of feasting and harvest, celebrating life. Run your hand over the relief of a grape, cluster carved in marble. It is smooth and cool, worn by the touches of grieving relatives. These people built the villa, planted the vines, walked the halls. Now they sleep, indifferent to the crumbling of their world. Read the inscription carved into the stone. DM, Dis Manibus, to the spirits of the departed, a dedication that spans centuries. There is a name below it, perhaps Lucius or Claudia. Say the name softly in your mind, giving it breath once more. To speak the name of the dead is to make them live again for a moment. There is no fear in this room, only a profound sense of continuity. They have finished their journey. They have laid down their burdens. Imagine the peace of sleeping for 1,000 years in this quiet room. No more taxes, no more wars, no more cold winters. Just the slow, gentle passage of time, marked by the moving moon. A spider has woven a web across the corner of a niche. It catches the light, shimmering like a silver funeral veil. Life continues even in the house of death. You can feel the presence of the ancestors around you, not as ghosts, but as a warm, supportive memory. They are the roots of the tree, invisible but essential. Sit on the stone bench that runs along the circular wall. Lean your head back against the cool marble and close your eyes. Listen to the wind sighing through the cypress branches outside. It sounds like a collective breath, a whisper from the past. Hush, hush, it says to the weary world. You are a guest here, protected by the dignity of the tomb. The problems of your life seem very small in this company. Here, the only thing that matters is the legacy of love. The marble glows softly in the dark, absorbing the moonlight. It feels like being inside a pearl, smooth and lustrous. The shadows cloak you, hiding you from the demands of the living. Rest here for a while in the company of the silent builders. They have handed the torch to you, but for tonight you can put it down. There is no need to carry the fire all the time. Let the darkness support you. Let the stone hold you up. We rise slowly, offering a silent bow of respect to the sleepers. Backing out of the sacred space, we leave them to their eternity. The cypress trees nod as we pass, watching us return to life. We leave the sleeping ancestors and walk back towards the villa. The gravel path shines white in the moonlight, a ribbon of light guiding us home. The air is colder now. The night has reached its deepest point. We arrive at the exedra, a circular recess opening onto the garden. It is a large stone bench designed for conversation and contemplation. But tonight, the conversation is only between you and the silence. Sit down on the curved seat fee. Feel the cold marble through your tunic. From here, you can see the entire shape of the house against the sky. The tiled roofs, the columned walkways, the dark square of the tower. It looks like a sleeping beast, heavy and dormant. You have walked its halls, touched its walls, smelled its scents. You know its secrets now. You are part of its memory. The villa is not just a building, it is a vessel for living. And like all living things, it is slowly slowing down. The lamps in the windows have mostly burned out. Only a faint glow remains here and there, like dying embers. The empire is not ending with a scream, but with a yawn. It is simply tired, ready to close its eyes after a long millennium. There is no tragedy in this, only the natural order of things. Think of the sun that will rise tomorrow over these hills. It will shine on the ruins and the new shoots with equal warmth. The birds will sing. The river will flow. The seasons will turn. The continuity of the earth is stronger than the works of man. Lean your head back against the stone niche of the exedra. Let the acoustics of the curve amplify the sound of your breathing. Inhale, exhale. You are the center of this quiet universe right now. The garden stretches out before you, a tapestry of shadows. The statues, the trees, the fountain, they are all watching over you. They are the silent witnesses to your peace. You feel a heavy, pleasant fatigue settling into your limbs. It is not exhaustion, but the deep satisfaction of a journey completed. Your eyelids feel weighted, as if dipped in honey. The distinction between the waking world and the dream world is blurring. The villa is beginning to dissolve into the mist of your mind. Its stone walls are becoming soft, its floors turning to clouds. You are drifting on the river of time, carried gently downstream. There is nothing left to explore, nothing left to see. You have seen it all, and it was beautiful. Hold on to that feeling of beauty. Let it be your anchor. The fear of the dark has vanished completely. The night is not an enemy, it is a warm cloak. It wraps around the villa, preserving it in amber. Imagine yourself melting into the stone bench, becoming one with the house. You are as solid and enduring as the marble. The wind whispers a final secret in your ear. All is well, it says. All is quiet. Your thoughts have slowed to a stop, like a wheel ceasing to turn. There is only the present moment, expanding forever. We are ready now for the final farewell. Rest here for one last heartbeat before we let go. The moment has come to close the gates of memory. The villa is fading now, retreating into the mists of time from which it came. The walls that sheltered us are becoming transparent, dissolving into starlight. You have been a wonderful companion on this journey through the twilight. Together, we have witnessed the quiet dignity of an ending world. Now, the heavy curtain of sleep is falling soft and final. Let go of the stone. Let go of the history. Let go of the thought of me. You are drifting away, lighter than a feather on the wind. There is no more past, no more future, only this deep, dark now. The Roman moon is setting, and your own dreams are rising to meet you. Safe in the knowledge that everything changes, yet nothing is truly lost. The earth will remember our footsteps, even if the wind erases them. Close your eyes fully now, my friend. Sink into the velvet darkness that waits to catch you. The story is finished, but your rest is just beginning. Let the silence wrap you up completely. Sleep deep, sleep well, and fear nothing. The night is your guardian, and peace is your pillow. Drift, float, sink, and sleep. Goodbye to the villa. Goodbye to the empire. And good night to you, traveler of time. May your dreams be as golden as the harvest. I leave you here at the threshold of oblivion. Sleep now. Good night. Good night.